It's getting toward that time where you have to file your taxes. April 18th of 2023 is the deadline. Exciting stuff. Tax returns, filing taxes. Who wants to do it? No one. But if you're going to do it, why not do it for free? Can you file your taxes for free? Of course you could file your taxes for free. Of course you can. You fill out the forms. There's no one that you have to pay to fill out all those forms. But what we're really talking about is, can you get free help to fill out the forms and do it right? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And the answer is yes, you can. In fact, most people in this country can file their taxes for free. Let's bring in Tony. Tony Shore, welcome to the show. We're talking taxes today.
We are talking taxes. Woohoo! I'm so pumped up to talk about taxes today, Dan.
Well, we got to file tax returns. Everyone that makes money's got to file a tax return. Which, by the way, I hear people say, once you hit 80, don't have to file taxes anymore? I don't know where that comes from, but that's not true. So if you have money coming in, you got to file taxes, and maybe you won't pay taxes. That happens for a lot of people, but you still have to go through the process of filing return.
Yeah.
And you've always been able to file for free, right? I remember when I started filing taxes in high school and college, my mom would help me. She worked for the IRS, but I would fill out the forms, fill out the actual 1040. You know what I'm talking about. Now everything's online, but you could still do your taxes for free. And you don't have to pay anyone to help you. But what I'm talking about, though, Tony, can you get someone else to help you, a professional or software, and not pay for it? And the answer is yes. Now, you've probably heard of a couple of these. There's the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, VITA, and that's a government-sponsored program to help people with their taxes.
Oh,
you got MilTax, which guess who can file for free using MilTax, Tony?
Military personnel.
Yes, ding, ding, ding. And then there's AARP. They do a lot of tax
for seniors.
Yeah, I see them at the libraries locally. In Florida.
Yep.
Great. So that you have these things, but again, if you're not in the military or you're not on AARP, where what can you do?
Right.
What can you do? So turns out that our friendly people at the IRS are here to help. We're from the government and we're here to help. We're from the government and we're here to help. So the link here below to people watching on YouTube, this is the IRS Free File. You could do your taxes for free. So what I want to do is bring it up and go through it real quick just to show people what's going on, because you can, Tony. There is such a thing as filing for free with guided help using the software.
Huh.
Yeah.
So the IRS provides software to do it. You don't have to use TurboTax or some paid program that you pay for.
That's right. That's exactly right. In fact, I'm going to show you. I'm going to share my my screen with you, Tony, and the world. And I want to show
the world.
Those watching. Exactly. So can you see this now? This is a Google search, right?
Yeah.
Up here, Free File IRS. All right. I type that in, and what comes up? First thing that comes up is irsfreefile.com. So if you look now, this is maybe basic for those people that are watching. They're like, oh yeah, I know this. No, that's not what you're looking for. See this sponsored word here? Sponsored. Yeah. IRS. Nope. So you're not going there. You're not going to H&R Block. You're not going to taxact.com. Right. So once you get past those sponsored, you'll see TurboTax up there. That's really popular. Yeah. The first one that's not sponsored is irs.gov. Free File.
There you go.
So we go there. Here we are. Boring website, but whatever. So choose from IRS Free File. So there's two options. There's the guided tax prep, and then there's the fillable forms. Let's talk about the fillable forms down here for a second. This is what I was talking about. You could go online and get the forms for free, right? And fill them out and send them to the government. Why not? Right?
Wow.
They don't give you the prep. You do it yourself. You're
Right.
filling those forms out. But because it's all people use things online, it's fillable PDF forms. So you could just put the numbers in the right spot. Instead of printing and writing, you're typing and then printing, right?
Yep.
So that's always an option. You never have to pay anyone to do your taxes. You could do them yourself. But can you do it yourself? Is it smart to do it yourself? Well, sometimes you might want to bring in some guidance. So that's why they have
Right.
here the guided tax preparation.
Huh.
Look at what it says
Interesting.
for AGI of 73,000 or less. What is AGI? Adjusted gross income. Not all income is gross.
What did you call me?
Adjusted gross income. So what is adjusted gross income? Before we go any further, let's just very quick. This is how I figure it out. Any income you get is gross income. Okay. You get a W-2, you get a 1099, you have investment income, you have stuff coming in. That's your gross income. That's total income, right? Well, Dan, I make too much money. Well, you also can write stuff off. So if you have, I'll give you an example with you, Tony. But look at what the software will do. It'll help you file online. You answer questions, it guides you through it, does the math, and then you can file online and send it in. So let's click on this. Use free guided tax prep. Okay, so it says, what are you going to need? You're going to need your income statements, your W-2s, all the stuff that you normally would give to the tax preparer. Or if you do it yourself, you get all those things in the mail. You should have them all by now. You get them all together and then you go. Let's look real quick at all the providers. So who's doing this for free? Who's the government using? Well, there are 11. There are 11 IRS Free File online offers for you to explore. And here they are: Tax Act, 1040 Now, OLT, online taxes, and the list goes on for 11. Tax Slayer.
Tax Slayer.
Tax Act.
Your brother Ed would like that. Yeah.
Right. He uses Tax Slayer. So here they are, right? So there's all these options here. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to look at those. Let me use my free online lookup tool. Okay, so it asked you some general questions, and this is where it gets interesting. So let's say you're married filing jointly. Now, the AGI, adjusted gross income level, is all about the number, and it could be for joint or single. Doesn't matter. Let's say we'll do you and your wife, Tony. And we'll say you are going to be in your name, so we'll call you 56, right? And you live in the United States, and you live in Minnesota. All right, let's do Minnesota because Minnesota's got state tax. If you live in Florida like me, you don't have to worry about this. But let's say you live in Minnesota, right? Do you have active duty military pay? No. Right, so we'll say that.
Do I look like I'm active duty military?
Okay, so then here we go. Let's estimate your adjusted gross income. So let's look at how you calculate this. So you might say, well, my wife and I, between the two of us, we make $100,000. So right away, you're like, well, that doesn't help me. If I go down, my AGI is 100,000. Dan, why are we doing this? I'm well above that. Well, let's just wait. Let's say you put in 10% of your total combined income that goes into your 401k. Well, that comes off. So let's say you guys put in $10,000 into your 401k. Oh, now your AGI is 90. Oh, okay. Now we're talking. And what else? Let's say you also have a health savings account and you guys put in 7,500 into that. Whoop, not 75,000. Okay, now I'm at 82,000. Oh, okay. And let's say on top of your 401k, you guys each put in the max into your IRA. Because you could do that. You can do an IRA and a 401k. So you each put in 6,000. So there's 12,000 that goes in. All right. So now your adjusted gross income is 70,500. So even though you make 100,000, once you do the adjustments, which is what are you saving in retirement? IRA contributions, 401k contributions, 403b, health savings accounts, which is by far and away my favorite investment vehicle is a health savings account. I'll put the video up above on health savings accounts if you don't know what they are. So here we go. 70,500. What does it say?
Awesome.
All right. Earned income tax credit. Do you get that? Do I have any dependents under the age of 19? Well, in your case, we'll say you have one, but we're going to say we're not eligible for the earned income. What is the earned income tax credit? Families with have to have with one kid, say, have to have $27,000. So we're above that. So we're saying, no, I'm not eligible for that. Can I still file for free? And it says, well, look, here you go. There are several options. You have Tax Act, or you have fileyourtaxes.com. This sounds shady, right? Fileyourtaxes.com. But this is all through the IRS. We're still at irs.gov, so this works, right? So we say, well, let's look. All right, let's look at Tax Act. Let's check this offer out. So now we've moved and we've gone to this site, and it says, I am between 20 and 58, and my adjusted gross income is less than 73. Start your free tax return.
Wow.
There it is. So you could file your taxes free, including all the different forms that you need. Now, what if I'm 67 or older, Dan? What does that mean? What does that make a difference? So for a free filing at 67 or older, gross income can be between 65 and 73,000. And you can live in any of these states. So Minnesota's on the list. So, or if you're 67 and older and you're between 41,000 and 73 and you live in one of these states. So each state has its own little requirements. Sure. And also you could file a state return for free in certain states. Minnesota's not on the list. Sorry. So other state returns are $40. So you can go and file federal and state, Tony, for $40.
Wow.
See how that works?
That's pretty impressive.
Right. So a lot of people are wondering, well, is this legit? Well, you can always use the fillable forms if you don't want to go on the website. But if you go through the IRS and you go through this guided tax prep software, you get it for free. And I've done this with clients. So I have clients that are less than 73,000 adjusted gross income. Once we take the deductions and you figure it out. And this could be for a lot of retirees. And when you think about adjusted gross income, Social Security is going to be the big one. You're going to have IRA distributions. So you might get up there, but if you could control that, you could save some money doing your taxes.
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to know that this does exist. It's not a scam.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, though, if you go to one of those that have an ad, the sponsored links, say you go to TurboTax, and nothing against TurboTax, but they're a popular one around here. If you go to TurboTax, it'll say file for free. They're not on the government list. That's number one. Number two is it says basic returns. Let's look at what that means. And then you'll see if you have a 1099-G from unemployment, or you have any stock sales, too advanced, you have to pay for it. And then you go from free to $70 or whatever it is. I don't know what they cost. So keep that in mind. If you want to do it for free, you have to be below a certain income level. Know that it's not just your total income, it's your adjusted gross income. So your savings count against that. And that if you go through the IRS, then you're going to be in a much better position. You can have those forms. I just did one yesterday with a client. We had stock sales. So we had to put in the 1099s from the stock sales, the buying and selling, long-term capital gains, short-term capital gains, filling it all out. You go to one of the other sites that say they're free. Once you start doing that, they say, oh, hold up, that's expensive. It's going to cost you. Whereas if you go with the IRS Free File, free.
Wow. I did not know that the IRS provided that at all. That was neat seeing that site. So if you're in retirement and you're making your adjusted gross income after you do all your deductions is 73 or less, you can get it done for free. That's interesting.
And that's most people. That's most people in this country.
Yeah, in retirement. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So and think about it from the IRS perspective. Now, I don't know what kind of deal they have with these software companies. I don't know if the IRS is kicking back money to these companies for everyone they do. If they are, think about it from the IRS's perspective. By people using software, they're going to make less errors, right? You're not going to be doing hand calculations using a calculator. You're going to be doing a lot of computerized prompting. Oh, did you have this? Put that in. And you could see your number. And people like that intuitive software. But if you have to pay for it, you're like, gosh darn it, I had to pay to give my money away. Whereas the IRS is like, well, let's give the companies a little bit of money so that they give this software for free. So we have less errors and we get the money quicker. Right. And so it's a good idea, though, if you have complexity, to get a tax professional to help you, because you need to, this is tax prep. We're not doing tax planning. We're not talking about Roth conversions and how much I should add to my HSA, or do I qualify for a healthcare subsidy, all like that. Yeah. Right. So estate taxes and gift and all that. So when you have complexity, that's when you bring in the professional. But if you have a basic return, you shouldn't be paying for it if your AGI is less than 73,000.
Yeah.
Right. Why not save money?
Yeah. Sense. It's a no-brainer. And you want to find any way you can to minimize your tax burden, and doing your taxes for free is one way to do that. But if you have, if you have a lot of capital gains and things like that, you're probably going to have to pay a little bit.
Right. And if you're going to be paying someone like me to help tax plan, you shouldn't then have to pay someone to do the taxes if it's simple. You know, the tax planning discussions are going to be at a higher level. They're not going to be, which form do I fill? It's going to be, should I gift that money to my grandson as a 529, or should I put it into a trust account? Or do I need a Roth conversion now? Should I wait? What does that do to, that kind of stuff. But remember,
Dolphin Financial Group does not provide tax advice. See a CPA for tax advice.
Yeah, that was my son Johnny. Just remember that.
What is your tax plan?
What is your tax plan? So there's a difference. Tax plan is much more higher level strategery.
True. Strategery,
A tax prep is doing this. So if you're going to do tax prep, it's easy. No offense to all the CPAs and accountants out there. A lot of this stuff is simple, and you shouldn't have to pay for it. Just go through the IRS and get it done for free. Just do it. And if you run into trouble, you find yourself running into trouble there, then you can go get the tax prepper to say, hey, help me out here.
Yep. Sounds good. That's great. And I think that's useful information for a lot of our viewers and listeners out there. I mean, tax time is here and a lot of people struggle. What do I do? And why do I have to pay so much? Things like that.
Now it's free, Tony. Even the government's saying most people in this country should do it for free. Right?
Yeah.
So why not? So hopefully the listeners out there, you'll do your taxes and use it for free. If you do, comment on this video and let other people know that it's legit. Because once people start seeing other people doing it, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm not getting scammed here. The IRS isn't going to send someone knocking on my door, and I'm not going to get a bill in the mail. It works. I've seen it, and I think more people should do it just to save a buck or two, right? And eliminate some errors. So, Tony, you're on the docket. We're doing your taxes next after the show. We're going to use it free file and see how far we can get. Thanks for a good show, everyone. We'll see you next week.
All matters discussed in today's show are for informational purposes only.
This show is not investment advice.
Dan Riddle nor Dolphin Financial Group are affiliated or endorsed by any government agency.
Investment advisory services are offered through Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor in the state of Florida.
Insurance products and services are offered through Dolphin Insurance, Inc.
Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc. and Dolphin Insurance, Inc. are affiliated companies doing businesses as Dolphin Financial Group.
You should talk to someone at Dolphin Financial Group before implementing any of these strategies or ideas.